What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Let's get it.
Everybody's not unhappy, and everybody is not headed for divorce. Everybody is not in the middle of some type of drama in their marriage or relationship. And everybody is not being cheated on. Like, there are some men and women that are good and faithful. There are husbands that cannot wait to get home to their wives, and they're not out here trying to bed everything that moves. Their wife is good enough for them. She's enough for them. And there are some women that cannot wait to cook for, clean for, and serve their husbands, and they love everything about him.
You know, I have a God-fearing, loving, faithful wife who has taught me so much about family. I'm from a broken home. Seeing her consistency in really running the household while I'm out hunting, and understanding the importance of family. And, you know, I protect her, I love her, and I provide for her.
Just because you have not seen it for yourself or experienced it, or maybe because you've had bad experiences, does not mean that good, loving relationships are not true and not real.
I think my favorite thing about being married is just certain problems just are no longer my problems, even though they would be my problem if I was single, right? For example, my change oil light just came on. That's not my problem. Last week, my tire went flat. Wasn't my problem. Something about being able to hand it right over to my husband, I love it.
Honestly, this is really, really shameful. Like, I am not proud for this at all. Please do not be a wife like me. But I don't even know who we pay the mortgage to. Like, I can hardly even tell you who the cell phone company I have is with. It's so bad. Like, I just wake up and I could text, I could call, my lights are on. I don't even bother to inquire how these things get done. It's so bad. Because, like, what if, just in case, So I've asked him before and he's told me, but it slips my mind. It's like my mind refuses to grasp. So what I'm gonna do is next time I'm gonna take a pen and a pencil and I'm gonna write down this information and put it somewhere safe, because this is ridiculous.
As always, we're going to check out some of these comments. Of course, people had a lot to say to this wife. First comment reads, "Don't worry, you got plenty of other stuff to remember. Stuff he probably doesn't know about." She responded to that comment, and this is what she had to say.
He also doesn't have to worry about what we're eating for dinner, what's going on with the kids at school. Trust and believe, I'll hold down the home front, because for that man to be able to worry about them bills, that means that everything else is taken care of. And guess who's the manager of this house, honey? Me.
You know, they talk about the roles we have. No, that doesn't mean one role is more important. Yes, I'm the breadwinner, but my children are winners because of my wife and the type of house she's established, and so she's the type of home she established.
Yeah. Wow. Denzel Washington seems to have managed to really protect his reputation, and it couldn't have been easy. But in this video, he's talking about his wife, and listen to the words that he's using to describe his wife. He ends what he says by saying, "My children are winners because of my wife. They won because of my wife." As you guys know, here on the Coffee Pod, we talk about marriage and relationships and what marriage has become. And I like the way James Saxton put it. Some people believe the technology of marriage doesn't really work in our society. Some people believe it still does, depending on the mindset of the individuals. And I think that's true. More true than not. But I think there's a lot here that Denzel said that can be beneficial for both men and women. I've always thought that the greatest gift I could give to my children, because I plan to give my children a two-parent household, but the greatest gift I could give them was a good woman, a good wife. And when you think about it that way, it changes how you look at the type of woman you pick, especially if your goal is to raise children. Now, this isn't necessarily a discussion about marriage in the context of family court and the problems with the legal side of marriage, but this is more cooperation for men who are interested, might be thinking of, or do plan to get married, raise children with the woman, however you want to do it. I think the goal changes the type of woman you pick for that family that you want to raise. And him saying my children are winners lets me know that he picked the type of woman that would produce great children. The woman is the caretaker. She's the first sort of counselor, teacher of those children. He said, while I'm hunting, she was running the household.
You just haven't come across one yet. You just haven't had one yet. And since people are so bold right now about trying to prove that good men and women don't exist, that happy marriages are fake, since people are so bold about it, I challenge those of you that are blessed enough to be in amazing relationships to be loud about it. You don't have to dumb down. Share your don't hide your happy. I'm not hiding my happy. And in this season, if me being happy agitates you, you might want to unfollow me in this season because I'm not hiding my happy.
Guys, I want to focus on what this lady just said here. She said, people today are bold about pushing the narrative that good women and good men don't exist. I've deliberately, and multiple times, if you've been watching my content for a while, gone out of my way to say, guys, I don't believe that there's no such thing as a healthy relationship or marriage. I'm married, for goodness sakes. I do, however, know that the reality of marriage right now looks bleak. That doesn't mean that there aren't people out there who are either in successful marriages or are attempting to make the best out of their situation with what they can. Less people are getting married. That is the truth for many, many reasons. But when marriage works, nobody can deny that it is a good thing. It is the best situation, especially for raising children. She's 22, married, and has 4 kids. This woman is getting shamed by modern women online. Don't believe me? Check it out for yourself. Let's get it.
So this comment says that I'm missing out on my young adult years because I have kids. And I just want to address it. Most 22-year-olds my age are, partying. They're not established. I have four little ones. I'm married. I have a nice house. My husband has a good job. I have a car. Like, my life is established. So for some, partying, going out every weekend is like fun. Like, that's not fun for me. And I'm
racking up bodies in the club, at home, everywhere they go.
Missing out on anything. Sorry, I had to pause the video. Cass shit her diaper, had to go change her diaper. But like, I'm not missing out. Like, I'm young. I get to raise my kids. We get to grow up together. And my kids are all going to be grown by the time I'm 38. And that's when I'll get to go out and travel and everything. And honestly, it'll be better because I'm more established.
Okay, guys. So this one's going to be a really interesting video because this short TikTok video has a bunch of women just pissed because they're like, there's no way you're happy. And what's crazy is that at some point, a woman who's 22 and married wasn't a big deal. But today, they're like, what? You're settling down at 22, girl. There's all these men out here. You could be out here partying with the rest of us, but you decide to settle down. You have to be lying. That's what they're saying, right? That she has to be lying. For example, this comment that says, 4 kids at 22 sounds like a nightmare. Here's another comment that says, I know a girl who had 4 kids at 22, 3 different dads. Okay, well, that's not this situation. Check out this next comment that reads, the thing is, who promised you life until 38? So they're like, hey, you should be out in the streets with the rest of us. I want you to think of how crazy that is, guys. Really think about this. So what I'm not saying here is this is an ideal age for all women. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is if this chick said, I'm 22 and starting an OnlyFans account, these women would be like, oh, great. Yeah. Women empowerment. Do you, queen? Good luck. That's right. Get that money, sis. Right? They would celebrate, defend that, protect that from all angles, lifting her up, encouraging her that she's doing the right thing. But her saying, hey, I'm a mother of 4 kids at 22 is crazy. That's where we're at. Is it a woman is wise enough, smart enough to go out and decide, hey, I want to sleep with a bunch of men, or I want to do OnlyFans. But if it comes down to being mature and settling down at that young age, you must be crazy. Here's another comment that says, 4 kids at any age is low-key wild, with the dead emoji, but at 22. Here's another comment that says, like, babe, who are you trying to convince? Here we go. Here's another comment that says, why do they always say we are partying? Some of us are building careers too without kids, which is definitely better. Come on, you guys know you're out here wilding out. Another comment here from another woman says, we get to grow up together is crazy. Next comment says, they be manipulating themselves, so they can't believe it. right? She has to be manipulating herself. She can't be making her own decision.
What does a submissive woman do for her man?
Everything.
What does that mean?
You know, like packing his bag, unpacking his bag, just making sure all the things that he wants. And like, I pretty much read his mind. So it's like, if I know you and I study you, like I know how you are in the morning, I know how you are about midday, I know when you're in this mood, what you need. Like before you can ever ask me for something, I'm already on it. I mean, he's spoiled. And you know, when I talk to my girlfriends about it, they're always like, oh, how are you guys doing? And I'm just like, girl, he's rotten. I'm like, he's spoiled rotten. Like, he's rotten. But I love that. Like, I want him to be there. I think my biggest flex is how I treat my man. And I've been known to love people back to health. And sometimes it's very draining, but my love is my superpower. And I used to hate that about myself. But now it's like, I'm just embracing it. Like, that's who I am. Like, if I love you, I can heal you.
It's your joy.
It is my joy. You know, I love to see him eating the meal that I cooked. I love seeing him sleep easy. Every night, like clockwork, I scratch this man's back to sleep. And I know when he's asleep because I can tell when his breathing changes. And some people might think that's psychotic, but that's like, I just know that's when I'm like, oh, I can stop now. But I find joy in being your rest, you know? So know what that means. And that works for us because he wants what I have to offer.
My husband comes into this house, he runs this shit, period. And I know that sounds, you know, old school and I get called to pick me and all that bullshit, whatever. My husband runs me, period, point blank, period. He runs me. He has the last say so at the end of the day. He's the king of this house. He runs this household. Yes, he allows me to do what I need to do. I can move freely. I can, you know, make my own decisions. If I see something, I want to do something, he's going to support it. But the minute that he's like, nah, that ain't going, it ain't going.
Beautiful.
Why? Because as a queen, I respect my husband's wisdom. I respect my husband's output and outlook on life.
What a wonderful woman, man. On this channel, man, we celebrate positive women who have found a man who they can cooperate with. But you know who didn't think this was so good? Women on the internet. As usual, let's check out some of these comments. So this commenter says, good for you. We're not all the same. With the laughing emojis right there. Guys, those are tears, right? Those look like laughing emojis, but those are tears. Yes, you're right. You're not all the same. She's married and you're not. Next commenter says, everything is not for everybody. Some men will run the house right into the ground if you let them, and some men will run it successfully. Analyze your own situation and move accordingly. If it's working for you, that's all that matters. Again, this is that whole belief that like whatever works for you is going to work for you. This lady says, stupidity. It's giving stupidity, but to each its own. Again, here's a woman, right? She's flipping off the camera. You already know all you need to know about her. This female commenter says, the ones that are saying it could never be me is the reason they will forever be alone and single. Facts.
If I look over my marriage, if I were to judge it in year 5 or year 10, there was never 50-50. And so, yeah, there were times when I felt like I was 70% in and he was doing 30% because of the choices that I made in the terms of how I wanted our family to look. Yeah. I had to take my foot off of my career gas pedal, never putting on the brake, but slowing up a little bit. Those are the natural compromises that are required. And I feel bad.
She said it. Compromises. Let's keep listening.
When I see young people giving up on their relationships because there are periods of hard. So I think it's important for us to be honest in those conversations, not to glamorize what a partnership feels like, because then young people quit too soon.
And people think I'm being catty by saying this. It's like there were 10 years when I couldn't stand my husband. You know?
do say that. You say
10 long years. And guess when it happened? when those kids were little, right?
Yes.
Right? Because, you know, you can be all great individually when you're just married. You got your life, he's got his, you come together. It's all, ooh, good to see you, bye, take it easy. And then you have kids.
Not take it easy.
Take it easy, you're traveling, that's great, good. I get to hang out and watch the TV I want to watch.
Right.
But the minute we had kids, it was like, where are you going? And how far? And you start measuring, it's like, how many diapers did you change? And, oh, you're golfing? Oh, you got time? Oh, you got time to golf?
Listen, quick story for you guys. I was a CNA for about 10 years of my life. And the reason I was a CNA is one, it's pretty typical for like someone who is African. I was born in Africa. I've lived here most of my life since I was 7. But it's pretty typical for Africans to go into like nursing and that type of field. So the goal was to be a nurse, encouraged to do so by my mother at the time. But I knew I didn't want to be a nurse. So I just stayed at like that CNA level. And if you're unfamiliar with what that is, you're basically a caregiver. And for the first year that I did that job, I worked in a surgical acute hospital. It was a transitional hospital. And I didn't like it as much just because I knew I just didn't like the medical field, right? And then I started working in elderly homes with old people. And till this day, the way that 10 years of my life shaped the way I see life in general, because you learn a lot from hanging around older people, but the way I see marriage, the way I see relationships, that experience changed the way I see it. And then I stumbled on like the RP, and it just confirmed a lot of things. For example, I remember taking care of a married couple, and the husband was 102. No, he was 102. Yes, he was 102 when I was leaving, and the wife was 99. Nuts. And I would see that all the time, right? And one of my favorite things to do, just because I like people, was to ask these elderly people questions. Because you got to think, like, you've lived a century. There is things that you know that a lot of people don't. And these people have a lot of wisdom. Why? Because a lot of people who get to 100 outlive their friends. They outlive their children. Also, that's a big one. And when they're married together, it's like, wow, you've been together for the majority of your life at that point. And so funny story about this couple is when it was time to assist them and put them to bed, they slept in 2 different beds just because it was more safer that way. You know, when you're older, you think you're still young. So you just like try to get out of bed, and yeah, everything is just all over the place. But these guys were in actually good shape, right? They could both walk with like assistance. Of course, they had like walkers and stuff. But I remember the husband, when I used to put him to bed, he would stop me very often and remind me and be like, hey, do you mind if I can go kiss my wife? Good night. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what's up. So I would help him walk over there. It took like 30 minutes to literally walk to the other side of the room because he was slow. Cool guy, man. So he would get there and lean over and kiss his wife. And then he would say, I love you. And she would respond, I love you too. And they're just smiling at each other. And I sat there and I'm like, wow, 100 years is crazy. And then I helped him to bed. So after seeing this a couple of times, I remember I asked the wife, I said, how long have you guys been married? And she said, almost 80 years, I think. Here's what I thought of next. I thought to myself, could modern women, and the reason why I'm focusing on women is because women initiate the majority of divorces. Could modern women do that? Can they stay in relationships for 60, 70 years? And the answer is no. Most of these women could not do it. And here's the crazy thing about that. If you were married to somebody for 60 years, right? And let's say 10 years out of that 60 was complete shit.
This coffee smells like shit.
Most women today would have ruined that marriage. Most women today would have left. They don't have what it takes. Just like she said, she literally said, you can rewind if you want. She said, well, imagine you're in a relationship for 10 years and 10 years of that marriage, you were unhappy.
You would stay in a marriage that you don't love somebody anymore.
What is love? What is
do
that?
you love your husband? Yes, I love my husband.
So then if you like, let's say okay, let me just finish my sentence before you jump in. Things can happen.
It's getting
you can
heated.
separate with someone. You can be with him for 20 years and then you're like, I don't want to be here anymore. Okay, maybe not 20. Let's say 10 years because we're still talking about kids.
You know, she's basing her relationship off feelings and happiness. Those are fleeting things. She's ready to cut off the relationship. She's ready to cut off the marriage based on feelings. I came to the conclusion that there is no way most women today could have that type of a marriage. And that's kind of sad, right? It's kind of sad that that's the reality, which is why it's important that men are aware to these type of situations, are aware to the modern woman's mindset, because now it allows you to properly, if you're crazy enough, of course, vet a woman when you're preparing for marriage.
I have been married for almost 14 years. And I was of the notion that it was happy wife, happy life. A few years ago, the Holy Spirit told me, he said, you are putting undue pressure on your husband to make you happy. And that's not fair. And I was like, I not supposed to do that? He had to teach me that I'm not supposed to put all of the pressure on my husband to make me as a human being happy. Everything that is in our society says cater to the woman, make her happy. And the Holy Spirit had to check me. He was like, your relationship is lopsided. So for my wives, stop putting pressure on your husband to make you happy. Find those things that you enjoy and do that. And let your husband, your partners, let their love be icing on the cake.
I don't care if I'm in a relationship or married. I'm not asking a man for permission. No more wasting time. Let's get it.
You know, one thing that drives me absolutely crazy
Let's hear
is
it.
when I'm having a conversation with somebody and they're like, hey, let's go do these things on these dates. And I say, cool, sounds good. Let me have a conversation with my fiance and I'll keep you posted. And immediately they're like, you have to ask him for permission. Does he own you? First of all, let's not be childish. Second of all, when you are in a relationship, the decisions you make affect your partner. It's called consideration, respect, and maturity. So low-key in the back of my head, I am thinking, oh my gosh, this is why you're single. Because why in the world do you automatically go to ownership when you consider your partner and the decisions you make?
Makes sense.
I'm telling you right now, if this man decided one day, hey, I'm going to go to Cali for a week, and he does not tell me until he is in California, baby, we will have major issues.
Right.
Because ain't no way in this freaking world that we do not make these decisions together. This is my teammate, my partner. Not to mention, this man bought this house. He pays my bills. He's more than likely sending me money on the trip that you are trying to take with me. I do not want to be single with you. I am quite literally spoiled and I love it here. So don't play these games with me. You can keep that to yourself. Thank you.
The realization today that I have a really problematic view about men, and more specifically men as fathers. Because tell me why I was scrolling through Facebook and I came across this gender reveal party and I was watching the father for his reaction, and when he found out he was having a boy, I got secondhand embarrassment from how hard he was celebrating over the fact that he's gonna have a boy. Like,
Why?
I couldn't just let him have his moment of being excited to be a father. Like, I had to scrutinize every little detail, and I was convinced that this man is probably just a sexist who hates women and hates girls, and that's why he wants a boy.
Jesus Christ. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally lost it. You as a man cannot be excited or look forward to or want to have a beautiful baby boy. Why? Because we know the state of affairs when it comes to gender topics today. You know, why do you want a boy? You think boys are better than women? What's wrong with you? Drink some tea.
No, I'll have a tea actually.
But in all honesty, man, I'm not surprised. Imagine as a man, if somebody asked you, so what do you want? You want a boy or you want a girl? There's a moment there where you're thinking, and you know, if you say boy, then part of society would look at that as why, right? Why? And this has to do with like the purposefully grayed out lines that we have right now when it comes to gender, men and women. If you say, well, I want a boy so I can teach him how to fight, you could do that with a woman, right? Or I want a boy because I want him to be highly competitive. Well, can't women be highly competitive? And because we've blurred the definitions of what is a woman or gender roles, Should women be feminine? Should men be masculine? You guys know what I stand for here on this channel. Then you shouldn't want to have a man. You shouldn't want to have a boy, right? Society kind of feeds into this type of an idea. But let's listen to what else she has to say.
But then, like, he can't win because if he found out he was having a girl and he was celebrating that hard over having a baby girl, I would automatically assume he was a predator. I would be like, got him, lock him up. Like, no, that's it.
It gets worse. It gets worse. Not only can you want to not only can you not want a beautiful baby boy, right, to raise up to be a man, to maybe you want a replica of yourselves. A bunch of Chisha replicas. Now that's good coffee. No, I'm just kidding. But really, guys, think about this. You cannot want a boy if you're a man, and you can't celebrate too hard if you want a girl, because now you're looking weird, bro.
My husband is the head of the household. My husband is the man of the house. My husband makes the final decision. Yes, he allows me to do what I need to do, what I want to do. But if he decides that I don't need to do something, I don't do that. And not because he controls me or I'm weak or whatever. No, it's about I trust him. I trust that he has the power to make the right decision. And that's why I married him. If I didn't think that he could lead me the right way, he wouldn't be my husband. So I know there's a lot of independent women out there that don't need a man or whatever. But if you got a man, let him be a man. Because if you don't complain when he's not leading and he's not providing and he's not being the man that you won't allow him to be.
Mic drop. Now, do you think these women liked that coffee? What do you guys think? Well, luckily we don't have to guess. They responded. Let's see what strong, single, modern women had to say about this post. This commenter says, girl, have a mind of your own. 155 likes. She wants her to have a mind of her own, completely to be strong. That's that independent talk. She's saying have a mind of your own so you could be by yourself like she is in her profile pic. This female commenter says, everyone just needs to do what works best for them and stop trying to convince people that how they run their relationships should be the standard. 154 likes. Guys, think about this. Modern women today don't think that marriage has a formula. They don't think there is a formula for marriage to work. It's simply just do whatever you feel is right for your situation, your relationship. This female commenter has a question. She said, he allows you? ? What are you, his kid? Lord have mercy. Do you not have a mind of your own like me? Because I'm single, laughing my effing A off. People show me more and more every day why I never want to be married. Oh my gosh, what a surprise. She's not married, guys. What a surprise. Who could have saw that coming?
I don't drink coffee.
She doesn't drink coffee. Next commenter says, folks want you to care about their marriage so bad. Like, girl, that works for y'all. That's all that matters. Laugh out loud. Now, she's going to do her own thing, which is what she's been doing, which is why she's single. You see, guys, a lot of women don't see a crisis in the current situation of modern women. They don't see a crisis. Why? Because a lot of these women that are commenting are young. They're in that phase in their life where their SMV, sexual market value, is still marketable. But there's going to come a time when they'll have to meet the wall. The wall's coming fast, not slow. The wall is never late. The wall's always on time. This commenter says, indoctrination. This stems from religion. Like a woman needs to be led. Women can lead. Women are leaders. But do you, boo? Eye rolls. We can sense the attitude from here. This was a pinned comment by a woman. This one actually had a lot of likes. It says, for those who don't agree with her, are you all single? And how's that going? Because I rather find a good man to lead me than what I've been meeting to backtrack me. I think that's what that's supposed to say. But we get the gist of what she's basically saying. She's calling out these women and saying, obviously, you women are single and they're offended and highly triggered. Guys, nothing upsets women more than a married woman checking them on their shit. Nothing. This female commenter says, Lord, and here comes all the I wish a nigga would tell me what to do. Heifers, Most of y'all are single, bitter, and with babies that are fatherless. Oh, shoot. Shots fired. Drink that coffee.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
She goes on to say, why be with somebody who you don't trust to lead you and make executive decisions when it comes to you as a person and y'all as a unit? Controlling is a different dynamic, and we all know what that means. Us real women are tired of having to do everything on our own. Yep, baby boy, come take some of this load off me mentally, financially, emotionally, and physically. With the heart emoji. Shout out to her and what works for her relationship, which is what will work for most relationships out here. Next woman says, do what works for your marriage as long as no one is getting hurt. Oh, man. Next comment, why not just run your relationship by what works best for you and your partner? There is no formula. Oh, there it is.
God, you can't make this shit up.
There it is. There is no formula. This is how women think. There's no formula to life. Everyone do whatever you want. Be a 3 or 4. It doesn't matter. From your younger years up until 30, then decide to get married. It doesn't matter. Prioritize your education. It doesn't matter. There is no formula to life. Everyone just do what you want. No order, nothing. That's what this is. That's what this is a result of. This female commenter says, her marriage, her views. I'll also add that there are really good women who are single because a lot of men can't differentiate between excessive control and a healthy relationship. I'm going to end this with a comment from the creator of this actual post who said, these comments are very split. Half of y'all are calling her stupid, and the other half is calling the people that are calling her stupid. Can we have dialogue? I post these so we can respectfully exchange perspectives on the topic, but the comments are usually filled with she's a pick-me or he hates women. Like these phrases are a one-size-fits-all and yet literally do nothing to move the conversation forward or tackle the topic at hand. You know what? As somebody who has these conversations often, I understand the frustration of this content creator who posted this comment, but I also know that the people who are changing, the people who are understanding and actually applying what they see, and they're realizing like, wait, there's some truth in what's said, right? The men who realize like, hey, if I want this type of woman, I have to be the type of man who provides for her to some extent. I can't be broke, lazy, unmotivated. They understand that they have to bring something of value to the table. There are men out there improving themselves. And I believe there are women out there who are also waking up to the truth in silence. Majority of people are going to kind of go back and forth on this and argue. Most people won't see it, but hey, we're not worried about other people. We're worried about our own lives. What are you doing in your own life to help you improve, to become the person who you want to be, who you're proud of, to get the results that you want? That's what ultimately matters. Listen, guys, as always, curious to know what you think. Leave your comments and thoughts down below. I appreciate you guys for checking out another episode of The Coffee Pot. Till next time, man, I'm out. Peace.